What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talk of the Tundra, your Green Bay Packers podcast as a proud partner of the Gyro Step Podcast Network and the Blue Wire family. As always, I'm your host, Numac, coming to you with what is going to be frustrating pod to talk about because the Packers lost to the Carolina Panthers today, 16-13, in what was only the second ugliest game I've watched this season from the Packers. Only that behind the Cleveland Browns game, which was an equally upsetting loss as this one is, even though the Panthers aren't as quite as bad as the Browns. Regardless, to talk about all that and much, much more, with me is my lovely co-host Jordan Tresky. Jordan, I'm gonna assume you're doing pretty bad, buddy.
It's a good assumption to have, and you're correct.
Sometimes when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Not that time.
Good thing the Packers are there to make an ass out of themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What an abysmal game and an abysmal showing from the team. I'm not trying to be sensationalist. I'm not trying to be a downer. I'm not really even trying to be like negative. It's just how the game went today. Like this team had absolutely no business winning the game at all, given how they played. Uh, what were they? I can't remember off the top of my head, but they were
13.5 point favorites.
thir-
The Let's go to Rob Domofsky. The last paragraph in his article, touching on what is probably the biggest storyline to emerge from the game. 13.5 point favorite was the largest upset of the season, according to ESPN Bet. It was also the biggest upset in the NFL since the 2023 season. They've been favored. The Packers have been favored in every game this season, but also lost earlier this year as a 7.5 point favorite over the Browns in Week 3.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Um, I guess where do we start? I think you have to start with the offense because that was just the most ridiculous thing I've seen today. They had, I think, five total trips to the red zone and 13 points to show for it, right?
13 points, 1 for 5. I mean, we could go through the culminations of their drives. Like there were that
Yeah,
few of them that we could go
yeah,
fumble, field goal, missed field goal, interception, turnover on downs, touchdown.
seven total.
7 total.
It's ridiculous. Like we're gonna bounce back and forth between big picture problems with the offense and individual players and such, but like this is where the methodical just take your offense as you want to do it every single game becomes an issue. Greg Olson and company and talked about it on the broadcast of that Dave Canales made a choice when he wanted to take the opening kickoff to start the game that you're just limiting the amount of possessions the Packers can have. And when you only have seven possessions in a game, the fumble matters. The interception matters. Like all
The
of
missed
this
field
matters.
goal
Like
matters.
at the missed field goal matters. All you're doing when you, like they operate the offense like this is increasing the likelihood that a mistake costs you big time. Big time. Like you're taking away a lot of just options with more drives to get more points. Like and they've had times where they do have games with 10, 11 drives. Like I think their game against the Pittsburgh Steelers last week they had like 12 drives. And that's fine. And like that's good. That's what you want to see. Seven drives is insane. And it goes back to they always just take as much time off the clock as they can when they're on offense. They think they're just gonna march down the field every single drive and get the result they want. Newsflash: you don't. Good offenses can, but you have to play with some tempo. They play with some tempo towards the end of the game when they had to, and I think it was the touchdown drive. They started playing with some tempo and they scored a touchdown in 12 plays, 71 yards, and just under 5 minutes. The drive before that, when they turned the ball over on downs and Jordan Love threw across his body to the other side of the field, that was should have been a pick six for 105 yards. 13 plays, 58 yards, 6.5 minutes. The the other long drives, 9 plays, 43 yards, 4.5 minutes. Like it's ridiculous. They take so much time off the clock whenever they have the ball that they don't leave themselves wiggle room. They just don't. And then the flip side of that is like you can't really blame much of the defense on this. Like if a team scores 16 points and a quarterback throws for 170 or
A
102,
48 passer rating.
yeah, 102 yards and no touchdowns and interception, and they score 16 points, your team should win that game. I have no gripes with the defense, but that's how you beat the Packers right now is just have long methodical drives on defense that keep the ball out of their hands. But then when the Packers get the ball back, they don't do anything about it, Jordan. They don't do anything about it. They let these teams go on 10-minute drives. What was that? Was that the what game was that? That a 10-minute drive
Oh,
coming out of half?
Bengals.
The
Bengals
Bengals game.
is
A
yeah.
10-minute drive coming out of halftime. And then, yes, they went down and scored pretty quickly. Do that more. They can play with pace. They can. They just don't. And it drives me absolutely insane.
Well, I think what we're hitting on is that they don't have to do things until they need to, and
They
I don't
never
think that's
do things
this.
until they need to.
Yeah, yes, and I think that is the danger area. I mean, this is where like the offense, like we will have our gripes about the offense, but I think today kind of articulated so many of them is that this team does not have a problem moving the ball downfield. This team increasingly has a problem executing, getting points on the board. That includes your bum kicker that you keep clinging to.
Hold on.
Like that.
Do you mean bum as in he's bad or like he's on a bum leg? Because that I think it matters what you're saying. Are you
Both
saying both?
matter.
Is it
Both matter. You
okay?
got to substitute waiting in the wings. Semester starting right now. Do you hear the bell? Saved by the bell? Can you be saved by the bell?
Okay.
No,
I
but going back to my original point, they had 5.9 yards per play today. Like, if you play this game, not to just use this phrase of simulation of like 100 times, does it come out that the Packers win this game 95 times? Probably.
probably.
But the problem is that they didn't have their hammer plays. Credit to the Panthers defense who played easily their best game of the year by far. Like
Yeah.
we saw how they're playing in red zone situations, red zone defense. They were just like, we are not letting you crossing the goal line. I mean, Josh Jacobs, the lone
Barely
touchdown for the
does.
Packers today, but it was the only thing like just getting through like the five hole and like a
Mm-hmm.
hockey goalie. Um, but yeah, it was just like we've seen the Packers have these games at Lambeau before, and I feel like it's usually the offense is kind of like the Bears game last year, the last game of the season. Granted, it was kind of weird when Jordan Love leaves early and Malik
Well,
Willis takes over.
the other option is the Saints game from 2 years ago when they won
Yes,
18-17 or whatever the hell the score was.
yeah. It's just like I didn't like turnovers happen. The Savion Williams fumble, like that was at the 16-yard line. The interception
The
that Love,
interception was so bad.
yeah, like I'm struggling to kind of wrap this in a way of like how I want to, but like it is just not. It's we know what this offense is capable of
Mm-hmm.
in terms of they'll get chunk plays. They'll do get it down the field. We saw them trying to air it out big time to Christian Watson to mixed success on the second play, but to good success in the first play. Um, but there was the turnovers and missed field goals mask the number of false starts, the holdings that took them back and took them
Just
out of it.
so
Like
many
that, just like
penalties.
it's just like this cavalcade of like just errors that they constantly do, and I don't like. This is just what it is. Like everything. I was just watching the game, and I'm like, Matt LaFleur again. Not to keep doing this referendum every time we have to lose, but I
I
feel like this is
think we
just where we
have
are
to
at.
because it's not every time we lose. It's more recently when they squeak by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah,
It's a bullshit
that
referendum that we have to talk about, but god damn, do we have to talk about it?
I know that's. I mean, that's a good point. Like it is just like it is incredibly messy how they manage the game, and like frankly, the fact that like the the turnover on Downs drive that should have been the second interception that Love threw.
Yep. But they don't kick the field goal.
It wasn't just that though. It was that they had to take a timeout.
Yep, because
And
because of injuries in for the most part, because they had Malik Heath, Bull Melton, and Savion Williams out at receiver.
no, they didn't like the setup, and then they had to take a timeout to burn a timeout. And
Yeah,
like this is like the start of the fourth. There's just I don't know. Like
but even then, LaFleur said it was a mistake to go for it. He said in his post-game press conference that he shouldn't have gone for it on 4th and 8. And I'm trying to scroll Twitter here to find a tweet from Peter Bukowski, and here it is. He said, this Packers game is a great example of why having an ethos of following the data versus gut instinct is such a better plan. Going for it and not getting it means you can always fall back on good process. It helps you prevent from making emotional decisions. It's such a great point. Like, they they will follow analytics in some parts of their offense, but then not in other parts. And it's all on the field of the game, which is what I despise about how he calls the game sometimes. Like, credit where credit's due. Like, Dan Campbell lives and dies with what he does on 4th down, and he has confidence in the analytical decision that he's making. I don't think Matt LaFleur has confidence in any decision that has any sort of weight to it ever.
well, I think too, like let's not beat around the bush though, but that's part of the McManus problem is that even on what would have been a gimme kick, like his struggles are that apparent that he's thinking himself out of what now we would say, why didn't you just kick the field goal and extend the game into overtime?
Well, even then, but that's the thing, Jordan, is that the kick that he missed, the one that if they would have kicked it on 4th and 8, when he had that when Love almost threw that second interception, that's
Yeah.
a much closer kick. That's pretty much an assuredly a gimme, versus the one that he missed was like what 49 or something like that. It was
I'm going through it. They were at the Carolina 13, so it would have been 30-yard field goal.
right,
Which, yes, I agree.
more or less a gimme. The one that he missed was
The one that
a
he missed was
43-yard field goal.
43.
So like 15 yards, you hopefully like that's not that much big of a difference. Like, you'd hope it's not that big of a difference that he wouldn't have a chance to miss it. But like, oh my god, it just drives me insane. It drives me insane because we know that Matt LaFleur has the capabilities of being a good coach. He has great
And he
off.
ultimately is. He ultimately is.
Sure,
But
I'll concede the point for now. The problem is that he's a very good coach when it comes to play design and operating and creating an offense for the game that week. He is a less than average coach when it comes down to in-game adjustments
yeah,
and making decisions that impact the outcome of a game. Like,
yeah,
he's not good at challenging. He's not good at going forward on 4th down or deciding to punt or kick a field goal. He's very bad at all of those decisions, and he's poor at getting the team ready and focused for the week. Like, I I can live with penalties that happen between the whistles. The all of the pre-snap penalties that
yeah.
they have
It's
are
oh boy.
egregious. They kicked Brandon McManus lined up to kick a kickoff 3 times, and the third time he does it, the team is offside or has an illegal formation. How hard is a kickoff in today's NFL to put your foot on the fucking line and wait for the ball to be caught by the receiver or by the kickoff returner? How do you have an illegal formation in today's NFL with that? It's
On a
insane.
kick.
On a kick.
It's I like all we have to say is a kick.
Like, the coaching is awful. I don't get it. Like, again, Matt LaFleur, good coach. He can scheme up an offensive game plan with the best of them. The rest of the coaches, I don't know what they tell these guys. They aren't focused coming into the game. You can blame it on youth and you can blame it on inexperience, but it's bullshit when it's multiple years in a row. Like, they've had so
Yeah,
many years of being the youngest team in the NFL, and that's fine. They want to embrace the youth and have a long runway of success in the NFL with this team. But in order to do that, you have to have coaches that are willing and able to be able to get these young guys ready. And honestly, none of them are. Like, I don't know what Adam Stanovich's role is in creating the offense and getting teams ready, but I haven't enjoyed him as OC. Like ever since he left the being the line coach, where he made fantastic lines, the line has looked not great. Like they've had pretty blatant uh, gaps in their blocking schemes, whether it's pass blocking or run blocking over the years since Stanovich has become offensive coordinator. Rich Bisaccia doesn't know his ass in the fucking hole in the ground when it comes to lining up such teams and making those decisions or advising Matt LaFleur on anything that has to do with in-game operations. And bless Jeff Hadley for whatever he's doing to help keep this defense focused and able to hold teams to 16 points every week when I'm sure they're pissed as hell in team meetings that the offense can't score against these teams. Like it the defense, we'll get the defense in a minute, but like the wrap up the coordinator thing. The defense has looked good. Like you can't help Keyshawn Nixon having to hold every receiver that he needs to cover to try and cover him. Like he's having a bad string of weeks. Carrington Valentine had a ball go through his hand today and get caught by Tat McMillan. That would have been an interception. Like you can't help that as a coordinator. Those are just plays, right? But at least Keyshawn, like there's hand fighting on every play. Like don't get me wrong, but Keyshawn gets caught more than most when it comes to
Yeah.
defensive holdings, and they had multiple. They had a defensive holding today that cost them. I think I forget what that play was, but
It was the second Dowdle touchdown.
yeah.
It led to it, at least.
And so it's just like I just have so many issues with this coaching staff because like they're professionals. They're professionals. How don't you how aren't you focused in your every snap to just line up properly? Like I know that there's a lot going on in an NFL game. You have a very long play you gotta listen to. Like you have to think about the snap count. You have to do all of this, right? It boggles my mind that you're an NFL player and you don't know the basic rules of having to cover up a tackle or cover up a tight end in on the line as a receiver. Like it just doesn't make sense in my brain, and I blame it on the coaching staff because it's their responsibility to teach the young players and to hammer home the necessities and the basics of how to play football to them, and they clearly just don't.
Yeah. I mean, this is not a youth problem. This is who's overseeing it. The fact that there are illegal formations on a kickoff is egregious. Like it just shows the priority that is being made in terms of that unit and why we pin our hopes and dreams to one leg that is betraying us as well. But it is just it was just diabolical of just seeing this team just kind of like, you know, not not find a solution to anything today. Especially, I mean, again, all of our problems are on the offense, and the other thing too is that like all the things that we were saying, like they still apply, but they're also moot because you lost one of your best players today, and
Yeah,
that's what makes it way different. Like there was no Rasheed Walker talking about the only difference why this game is stings. I shouldn't say stings less than the Browns game because the Browns just carry a different weight. But it wasn't like someone was talking before the week talking about going undefeated for the rest of the season. But like Packers just might as well have like there was just a different level of verve and energy that I thought Carolina came out with today. They clearly came wanting to come into Lambeau and um, get the upset. They knew, felt like a lot of those players knew how big of a underdog they were.
yeah,
Not to, I'm not making any assumptions of their off the field experts or pursuits, but it was just like there is a all the accusations of this team being not necessarily front runners, but looking down their competition. It's like this game, the Cowboys game, though there are other things going on that day. The Browns game, the Bengals game, we have plenty of evidence that they are doing that,
yeah.
and
They
it's frustrating.
it's incredibly frustrating. Like they think they can waltz through games when they have no evidence that they are capable of doing that. Like they think they're entitled to just play their own game when it comes to beating these bad teams. When these bad teams are going to give you their best shot, like any given Sunday, any team can beat any team. We saw that twice this year now with this team,
Yeah.
and it makes I still think the Packers are good and have a high ceiling, but it makes me question just how much I can believe in them to do anything come go time. Like if you're going to assume that you're entitled to your offense and you're entitled to how you want to play the game and that's how you're going to win going into the week, but make no adjustments, like of course you're going to lose. You need to make adjustments, and sometimes it just feels like they don't. Um,
Well, and I think too, it's like this team. The characteristics are the slow starts. Points are not getting on the board in the first half, and then like last week or the Bengals game, or they have enough to like kind of cover their behind
right.
and pull out the hammer plays. But on a day where like nothing like that happened today,
They're the
and they
one Christian
score,
Watson deep ball.
yes, and then they did that again, triple covered,
Triple
and
covered.
it was just like, what are you doing? That's where, like, again, it's everything. It's the play calling, it's
Yeah.
the game management, it's the readiness of players, whatever. Like, it's all interconnected. Obviously, that leads to what is a 3 point loss, but it feels like they got blown out.
It feels like I mean, it's frustrating because it is a 3 point loss. They had a chance to win the game. One again, they shouldn't have even been close to have a chance to win this game based on how they played. But then they can't execute to end the game. I've two more things on the coaching before we get on to the players because those guys obviously matter too. Zach Cruz tweeted earlier during the game. Greg Olson called Matt LaFleur, quote, one of the best play callers in the league, unquote, during the Fox intro. Good reminder of his national slash outside reputation, especially when you inevitably get annoyed with something he calls today. That was quote tweeted by a man named Sam Hoppen. He's a NFL data scientist at ESPN Bet. This is his tweet. Here's where I'm at. LaFleur is a great play quote designer, but he's not a great play caller. The second and long runs, calling shot plays when you need a few yards slash screens when you need a lot, etc., is part of what makes the offense less consistent and unable to hit their ceiling. He could have said it better. Like he doesn't have a feel for the game and what is needed at any given point during it. Like it just feels like and I'm going crazy, Jordan, because I know I've said this exact point on the pod before. It's like he closes his eyes and points his finger at the play sheet, and that's what he plays.
yeah,
That's what he picks.
yep.
Like it shouldn't be. Ty said it in the Discord. I can't wait for this run pass. Like they shouldn't be predictable as an offense, and they just are, and that's what makes it
They're
so frustrating.
predictable in unpredictable ways. You know what I mean? Like there is something about it where it's like I why are you throwing it to a triple covered Christian Watson when you're in your own 20?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like and then on the hurry up of like they finally had a quick passing tempo on their final offensive drive and it's like I like again, a lot of this is missing context of like they lost half of the receivers that were available to them today. But the play where was it Emmanuel Wilson? He's going out wide for like a screen.
Mm-hmm. And he gets
His
tackled in the
he
backfield.
got tackled immediately. Like the blocker
That no,
just got his hands on the cornerback, and it's like this is a third and
no,
goal.
no,
Like
no,
what are you
no, 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 no,
doing?
no, no. It was 3rd and 3 that led to the 4th and 8 that led to the
Of
turnover on
course,
downs.
yes.
So if it
Yeah.
was 3rd and 3, they could have ran the ball. If it was 3rd and 3, they could have thrown a short little out by the sideline. No, they throw a stupid play behind the sticks on a 3rd and short. Like it drives me insane. It drives me
Yeah.
insane why they throw behind the line of scrimmage as often as they do in critical moments. Any third or fourth down that they're throwing behind the sticks is batshit to me.
And I'm not like I was not there. I understand when I see an American flag whipping in the wind and it's like, oh, it's windy. But it is just like Bryce Young won this game, as we mentioned, with 102 passing yards and a 48 passer rating. Jordan Love, I'm not saying he had a perfect game by any means. He looked pretty terrible, but like the guy was still making pretty tough throws. Look at that throw to Romeo Dobbs where it just lofts over the arms of a extending defender right in the middle of the field.
Great
Like,
throw.
great throw. The conditions were not enough to be, if you're in your head about what you're calling at whatever play call, whatever. I'm not saying that's why Matt LaFleur like vacillated between like these different. It just everything contributes to the rhythm. And I know even Jordan Love was saying like this offense is inconsistent. And it's just like because they're like you mentioned, like the feel for the game and like what's working, what's not. It's like if I have to see Josh Jacobs run out wide of a tackle again, it's like that's not who he is. Stop making fetch happen. You know what I mean? Like it's just insane. It's insane to me that like it's like this time it's gonna happen. I think that's where it gets. It has increasingly felt like LaFleur is in that like I know it has not worked the last 11 times, but it's gonna work this 12th time, and it's like dude, that's where it's things have just gotten so far afield where like this is a good team, but like his feel on the 2025 Green Bay Packers is just kind of odd. It doesn't feel in rhythm to where this team was trending and where it still could if they didn't lose their star tight end.
It's the Arrested Development meme where
Yeah.
Portia de Rossi, that's her name, right? Is that ah talks to Tobias Funke and says, "Well, did it work for those people? No, it never does. I mean, these people somehow delude themselves into thinking it might, but it might work for us. It's that, but it's Matt LaFleur going, did Josh Jacobs run outside the tackles work last time? No, but it might work this time." And like that's where I have a problem with like I guess general. And this is again not a coach, not an analytical Packer or football mind, etc. That's where the idea of calling plays to set up other plays really annoys me. I want this play to work.
Like building like a route tree of
Build
plays.
right.
It's like
I want this play to
it's
work and go for positive yards because this is the play I'm guaranteed. And I know that there's benefit to doing that. You give the defense a look, you give the defense a look, give the defense a look, give them a different look, and it goes for a big play. The Colts did it last week versus with Jonathan Taylor on a run or two or something.
yeah.
Like, of course it works. I don't trust the process with Matt LaFleur at this point because
Well,
it's
that's yeah.
so bad on the way to get there. Because
Objectively, we could all say that process. Yeah, of course,
also,
that's what we agree
also
with.
it requires that setup play to work.
Yeah,
Right? It requires the bubble screen to Emmanuel Wilson to go for not negative yards. It requires the Josh Jacobs outside the tackles run to go for not
to
negative
produce
yards.
positive yards.
Right, because
Yeah,
all you're doing if you're setting up plays to build off a different play, but you're doing it with negative plays, they're just going to defend it the same. They're not going to
yeah.
change how they defend it and open up that play. And so it's just maddening to me. And we've gone so long on the coaching without talking about the players, and which is what we should do now. But to wrap it up, I'm at my wit's end of how to assess Matt LaFleur and company. And maybe what Sam said is just right. And we have to live with Matt LaFleur being an average coach from when the whistle blows to start the game and when the whistle ends to end the game. Because at this point, I think trying to understand him any way else is a fool's errand.
It's fair. I mean, that's why you have a coaching staff. Like you can, coaches are not perfect. It applies to every sport, even the best, like Andy Reid. I mean, I know this is a tale as old as time. He has plenty of game management questions to consider.
To interrupt you,
Or
I forgot about one thing I was gonna say. I said earlier I had two more things in the coaching staff, and I said
yes, you
one,
did.
and I forgot my second thing. But god damn it, did I remember it? The the absolute balls on this guy to make the kicker kick the kick to go to overtime versus calling the timeout to try and have some time to get the ball back if they make the kick is the most irresponsible like play I think decision I've ever seen him make. They had 40 seconds left of the timeout. You can just call timeout and have 37 seconds more to go down and and try and tie the game if he makes it. Instead, they try and ice the guy, and he nails it anyways, and you don't give yourself a chance to kick the field goal. You just don't. Like it just is so it's insane. It's an unequivocally insane thing to do, to not give yourself a chance to go back down and tie the game after they were about to take the lead if he makes the kick. And even then,
Yeah.
if he misses the kick, then you could just go kick your own field goal,
Yeah.
right? Like, I want to make sure I have the order of operations right on this. I'm pretty sure it was about that. Let's see.
That drive started with 2:32 left on the
Right.
kickoff, I should
So
say.
here's how it went. 19-yard run by Rico Dowdle. 40 seconds left. Timeout by Green Bay.
Yeah.
Timeout by Carolina. They both are now have one timeout left. A run for 0 yards. Uh, and then uh, that was at 40 seconds. And then a run with, they could have called timeout right then and there.
Yeah.
And then another 0 yard run with 8 seconds left. Carolina calls timeout with 1 second left. Like, why not just call a timeout? Just call a timeout earlier. Don't let them run the play down. It doesn't make any sense. None. None.
When you're used to burning the clock, though, I mean, that's part of the deal, I guess.
Yeah, it sure is. All right, let's talk about the players. Not a good
Yeah.
Jordan Love game today. Like, and I
Not a
have
good
such a
birthday.
on his birthday. I had such a hard time dissecting this game because he did have 273 yards passing today, and I don't know what to think of this game because I said it's a bad Jordan Love game, but at the same time we talked about in the Discord that the offense was moving the ball down the field. Like, they had, I think, what, maybe one 3-and-out. I think that no, because they didn't no
No.
they didn't even punt.
No. They didn't punt. They had 5 red zone trips and scored on one.
Yeah, like their shortest drive was the 4 play interception drive when they
Yeah.
arm punted essentially. But like, they were moving the ball down the field. It's just the same old mental errors that cost them. The Savion Williams fumble, it's whatever. It's a rookie fumbling. But the
Running into your blocker,
running
though.
into your
Like,
blocker,
dude,
and
what are you doing, man?
yeah, he does it a lot on kickoffs too.
He does.
It's just like
That guy could not take a kick out of a funhouse mirror if he wanted to. Jesus Christ.
but like, so many penalties and just like ill-timed too. The interception by Jordan Love, again, like we said, was insane. He almost had like this one that should have been a pick six towards the end of the game as well. The They lose Tucker Kraft in this game, which has insane like consequences for the rest of the season. I don't know what they're gonna do with their pass catchers. They have Romeo Dobbs healthy and Christian Watson healthy. That's it. That's it.
Well,
No, that's
because
it.
there's an impact.
Well, sure, but I'm not relying on Malik Heath and Bull Melton to do anything for me. Like, it's like Malik Heath, sure, but he's wide receiver 6. Like, it's not gonna be feasible. Dontavian Wicks is still out. Matthew Golden hurt his shoulder today.
Jaden Reed is just
Jaden Reed
starting
is
to get
just
back on
starting
the
to get
practice
back
field.
right. Like, it's just I don't know what they're going to do. Tucker Kraft probably tore his ACL and is out for the year. Like, that is a huge not boon, huge detriment to this offense. With the lie on Luke Musgrave now, which, like, I have to, I as a fan, I as a Green Bay Packers podcaster, as a person with eyes, has to try and watch Luke Musgrave be tight end one. Are you kidding me? Like, that's not going to be beneficial. He was drafted in the second round for a reason, but we haven't seen him do anything to prove that he is that talent, which sucks.
He
Which sucks.
exploded on a ball, and his career has not been the same.
No, he landed on a ball and his insides turned to mush, and he hasn't been the same since, which
Yeah.
sucks, right? But
Yeah,
that's where they're
rightfully.
at. That's where they're at. And like Josh Jacobs had a fine day today. Like, I liked how productive he was. He had 17 carries for 87 yards and a touchdown, like 5.1 yards per carry. Romeo Dobbs had a good day today, 7 catches for 91 yards on 10 targets. But like, I don't know if like Love just doesn't like throwing to anybody else, but he really only throws at Romeo Dobbs. Or or they throw one route, like they call plays that are designed for one route only, and those are the Romeo Dobbs plays. Like, it doesn't seem like I don't know what to think of it. The next the
To think of
next
what?
of why the distribution is so heavily tilted towards Romeo. Like when they have other impact players on this team. Before Matthew Golden got hurt, he had 3 targets. Again, Jordan, Romeo had 10 targets today. I want
Yeah.
if you haven't looked at the box score at the receptions area, I want you to guess what the next highest target total is. The next highest.
Next highest, I would have probably imagined it's Musgrave.
Nope. And
What's it?
I'm asking for number, not player. But you
Oh,
can
4.
close. It was 5 to Josh Jacobs.
Mm.
Josh Jacobs is the next highest target receiver with 4 catches for 13 yards on 5 targets. Christian Watson had 2 catches on 4. Uh, then there's 3 players with 3, including Matthew Golden, Tucker Kraft, and Luke Musgrave. And then Chris Brooks, Emmanuel Wilson, and Savion Williams all had 2, followed up with Malik Heath with 1. Like, I don't understand why the like, and again, Romeo had a good game today. Like, I'm not disparaging Romeo. I'm not sad that Romeo's having a good game. What I am upset about is why it seems like it's pulling teeth to get these other guys the ball down the field, right? Like the Josh Jacobs 5 targets aren't very much down the field. Like, they're very much behind the line of scrimmage on swing passes
Out
in the
wide,
flat.
check down.
Right.
You know,
Christian Watson hit one of his catches was the 52-yard bomb. Like, I don't get the calls that they're running. I can't fathom it. It's like Romeo Dobbs is the only one running routes with the intended purpose to move the sticks. The rest of the guys get stuff in short area, which, like, I'm fine with if you can move the ball down the field and have success with it. And today they didn't have success with it. They had a lot of mental errors and a lot of stuff that had a problem with it. But like I said, they can move the field or move the ball down the field today. But this type of game is emblematic of a larger problem within the offense, in that
yeah.
and I've said it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks on this podcast, is that I cannot understand why they don't use their impact players down the field and instead use them behind the line of scrimmage. I will never understand it, and I will never begin to want to accept it, if that makes sense. I won't understand it, and whatever explanation people try to tell me of why it works, I won't accept it, because they don't use their impact players. Look at how we saw Matthew Golden used in the preseason, right? Like, we saw him have that awesome catch on the sideline over his shoulder. We're like, wow, they got him wide receiver 1. We haven't seen that at all. It was the Browns catch where he ran out of bounds, right? It's the catch where he stepped in front of Dontavian Wicks in Dallas.
Yeah.
Those are the Matthew Golden plays, and the third down catch against the Bengals, I think, or whoever it was at home a couple weeks ago, where like to seal the game, not seal it, but help them seal the game towards the end. They drafted him in the first overall, Jordan, or not first overall, in the first round. Like, use your very good receiver that you drafted and his talent and a guy that the coaching staff, all training camp, and all the media members that had the best hands in practice, use him to catch the damn ball. God, this team pisses me off.
I could not tell. I could not tell. Um, no, I mean, I agree. This is just where the sad thing is that I think the potential of this offense never quite hit its ceiling until last week against Pittsburgh, second half especially,
Yeah,
and Tucker Kraft is doing chunk plays, and now we got an additional 2 quarters, and Tucker Kraft got hurt in the third quarter. So it's like whatever the ceiling has changed with this offense, it's changed dramatically. It's now relying on unproven wideouts that are not unproven. It's just that's a little harsh in like Romeo's case or Christian Watson's case, but still, like the dimensions to this offense are not the same
No.
by any means. So, and I think too the biggest problem, like I know I was looking at the box score, Jordan Love only got sacked once, but like how many times did they have a wide open
Yep.
shoot to the center, to the right,
Elton
smack dab in the middle
Elton
of the
Jenkins
field?
blew an assignment where there's a blitz up the middle and he takes a 2-on-1 on the defensive tackle to his left and lets the guy get a free run at up the middle.
The
Um,
the
at Jordan
the
Love.
pass. I mean, again, this is I the Derek Brown effect. Like how this team has similar to Miles Garrett in the Cleveland game. Like how this team has like done pass protection when granted these players are very good. Miles Garrett, Derek Brown, all pro level, you know, players on the front line, and they just send so many bodies that you're relying on a blitz pickup from a running back that can't get there and completely whiff where Jordan Love is running for his life to either throw it out of bounds or eventually get sacked in the other case. So like that's just it's again it's all interconnected. It's there's probably a lot more detail to this when people start talking about all film 22 or whatever, all 22 I should say. That's how you say it. But yeah, the offense. I mean, you look at it raw numbers. It's like this offense was still moving the ball and doing the right things, but like Jordan Love did not play objectively well. Josh Jacobs, I thought the run game looked as good as it did with
All
him,
year.
but it still was not good enough. So yeah, like it's really trouble. I just think going back to your point of the game possessions and playing this way of you're kind of building the way that the Packers want to play is that they're giving themselves like 7 to 8 chances a game to score.
Yep.
And I'm not
It
saying
makes mistakes that much more impactful.
exactly.
Every,
That
and
is
and it's not even the big mistakes. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's the little ones. It makes every false start that much bigger. It makes every hold that much bigger.
well,
It makes
that's
every defensive penalty that much bigger because you're allowing the opposing offense another opportunity to score. Again, I'm sorry to interrupt.
no, I'm referring you brought up a really good point. Even on a drive where they got points, McManus hits his first field goal. They go up 3-0. That was a drive that Jordan Love hit a 52-yard pass to Christian Watson. Next plays, um, Josh Jacobs got 8 yards on a run play to the Carolina 22. Another additional 4 yard run play to the 18. False start on Ellen Jacobs at the 14. Love gets sacked on the next play, which is that blitz pickup that they failed to do. False start on the next play on a third and 18, and then it turns to third and 23 at the Carolina 31, which leads to the 49-yarder from McManus. It's like that stuff that was there last year. That was frankly there in the first year when expectations were not as swelled to the point where it is now. But like, it's the compounding of mistakes that happened with this team. Like they've had games where multiple games, or at least like 3 games a year, where they have turnovers, they don't get points or missed field goals or whatever, and based on the odds, 4 out of those 5 drives happen on the same game. Whereas it's scattered out across 17 game season, but 3 of those games, like it just like all this crap happens at once. I don't know why it's random, but it's not. It's not when it happens routinely where the offensive line is struggling that much to be on time with one another, and like I don't know, but it is frustrating to see this offense kind of hit a wall repeatedly,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think anything will change. And
And that's the problem.
yeah, and well, and I think people would argue it doesn't need to change. They could still win a Super Bowl, and I think that's valid. Everything is valid, but it's still not good enough to say this is unequivocally the way to move forward. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's where I'm not trying to be reactionary, but like all the talks about like would LaFleur ever think of giving up play calling? It's like, well, if he it's open and shut
I
for him.
don't
It's like
know if I want it to be Stanovich.
no, I mean it doesn't. It's not. I don't think a decision like that one will ever come. If
No,
that ever comes, that means Matt LaFleur is not long for Green Bay,
no,
to be honest.
yes,
But his identity and his core beliefs of how he wants to run this football team is so indebted into the play calling that he does that if you give it to Adam Stenavich, it doesn't necessarily change the Packers and how they run a football game. It
no,
doesn't at all. So
no,
that was a lot of rambling.
no. The point you're making is that like if they're going to have these mistakes, is Matt LaFleur better suited to give up play calling to make sure they don't make these mistakes? It can focus on that preparedness during the week. Sure, that might be the case, but I don't think that happens. Like I don't think that's how that works out in the grand context of how this season will shake out. And you said like that this team can win a Super Bowl. I'm slowly approaching the line to where I don't know if they can. Like I haven't seen
No, I
them.
don't think so either. But
I haven't seen them since the Washington game, maybe. Like at like the first half of the Washington game, to where I'm fully confident that they have the capacity to put it all together to win 4 games in a row to win a title.
I would have said, I mean, I think the best football that they have played in a game was week one.
Yeah,
I think
which is a
the
problem.
best I think the best they have looked comprehensively was second half of last week.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But like that's again, it's a half. We've said it
Yeah.
all season. They can't play a full game of football,
Yeah.
and until they start figuring it out, like, and again, there's still half a season left. But and like the Eagles last year kind of looked just like this, where you're wondering, you're pulling your hair out, why they look like this? Why does it look like it's so difficult to be a
It's even
football team?
happening this year.
I mean, sure, like it's happening
Yeah.
this year, but like to go like the point being is that you can look bad for a season, hit your stride in week 18 and onward, and ride to yourself to a title. But the Packers don't have a running back like Saquon Barkley. They don't have the front that the Eagles did. They don't have the front on either side that the Eagles did. Like this team is very very good. They have very very good players at their positions, but you got gashed by Rico Dowdle today. A
The run
hundred.
defense was poor.
It was
Really
bad.
poor.
It was really bad. He goes 25 carries, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And when you have to stop the run, he busts off a 19-yard gain that won them the game.
Yeah.
19 yards. I think if they don't,
Playing
it
playing clearly hurt too. That's the
clearly
other
hurt.
thing. Yeah.
His legs were well done ribs. Like his muscles were falling off the bone. He was coming out every. I'm sounding like Jerry Seinfeld. He was coming out.
What's the deal with Rico Dowdle?
He was coming off the field every other drive to rest Jordan. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I sound like Donald McGregor right now with how exasperated I am looking at Rico Dowdle carve up this defense. Like, and I know they had injuries. Colby Wooden was out. They had 3 D tackles today, and like that's why it looked so bad. But my God, Xavier McKinney was your leading tackler today. That's insane.
There was a
That's insane.
lot. There was a lot of scrums, and then all of a sudden Rico Dowdle burst through,
A lot of it.
and it like there was a play late where Evan Williams was clearly trying to go for the tackle. He essentially gets blocked out of the play, and all of a sudden Rico Dowdle's running past him. Like
It was Evan Williams or Keyshawn. I'm not sure which. I thought it was Keyshawn in that play.
it was
Where
Evan Williams for
okay,
sure.
but like there's a hole that you see the running back, and I don't know what made Evan Williams want to bounce it out, like go make the tackle outside. If he plugs the hole, he has to go outside, and then he can just run out of bounds and not cut up the middle for 20 yards. Like that's just a poor play, and it God damn it, I'm so annoyed at how this game shook out because it was a bottom percentile game for like all of these players, right? But it just like the confluence of them all makes me so upset with just how this team operates. And like again, maybe it's reactionary, and this podcast looks stupid in 4 months in February. I hope it
But
does. I hope it does.
this is part of the story of this team.
But it's part of the story of the team and something that we have to talk about for what success looks like for this team. This is 2 games now that they should have won. Like
Yep.
they should have beat the bricks off the Browns and they should have beat the bricks off this Panthers team. And they should be what 7-0-1. Like it's ridiculous. It's frankly ridiculous. And now they're down a weapon, and you hope Matthew Golden isn't as hurt as he is, and he can come back hopefully soon. But like that's maybe the silver lining is that if you can't throw Tucker Kraft because his ACL is in two, maybe you have to mix in Matthew Golden some more because he is a dynamic player that we've yet to see actually get an opportunity in this offense yet. An
I was,
exclusive opportunity, not 1 or 2 passes a game.
I was contemplate or when I was watching the game, I was like, oh yeah, I remember I was at the other game that Dave Canales had been an OC
Yeah, the one
at
against the
Lambeau,
Tampa 2 years ago.
the Tampa, and they walked all over that Packers team. And I'm just looking at the stats, like it doesn't even compare because Baker Mayfield had 381 passing yards and 4 touchdowns, which would eclipse the Panthers' entire total yards today, which is even funnier. Like, but I mean, that guy, again, it does not, the numbers do not convey how much this Panthers team was getting everything that they wanted. They were, the biggest things that held them back was Bryce Young throwing ducks in the wind, like a
Yeah,
few times. But,
and he threw an almost second interception in the end zone. Xavier McKinney didn't get his foot down twice.
well, and that was the defensive holding on, or
On
DPI on
yeah, on Keyshawn. No,
Mixon.
it was defensive holding on Keyshawn. So it wouldn't have mattered. But
Yeah.
like that interception by Xavier McKinney, where was that ball going? How does that quarterback lead you to a victory? And not even lead you, just holding the ball. Like, oh my god. Like if you're Keyshawn Nixon and you can't handle Xavier Legette, I love Xavier Legette. His accent makes me roll over laughing, and how he talks to media members. He's a funny dude. Not a great NFL wide receiver at this point in his career as a second year player. He's coming out, sure, but he's not DK Metcalf. And he treated Xavier Legette like DK Metcalf. You could cover Xavier Legette, Keyshawn Nixon. I know you can. God,
It's pretty tough.
God. There's times when we pod Jordan, and then I'm sorry, listener, that I'm getting close to my mic because this is the bit I'm doing. There's times when we podcast Jordan where I think that when we podcast, I'll feel a little better after we're done
Oh,
talking.
it never makes you feel
It
better.
never makes me feel better. This is the pain machine.
Yeah.
I come in here and I talk into this little furry microphone, and I shake it, and I get my blood pressure up, and my cortisol spikes, and I want to just scream. I want to scream. Why?
Well,
Why?
because what happens is
Why has
the
God forsaken me as a Packers fan?
we're not gonna go that far. What happens is you watch the ending of the game. You probably turn off the TV. You don't watch football for the rest of the day. You were like, oh, it's contained to those hours, and then you sit down in your chair and you have to think about, oh, what happened between 12 to 3.
Dude, I wasn't even this mad post game.
I know that's what I'm saying. Is
I
that
know.
you're turning the chapter like, oh, I'm gonna go out with the rest of my
I
day.
drove my happy ass to Trader Joe's, got some orange chicken and some fried
Oh,
rice. I found these divine. Let me put you all listeners onto something sweet. Trader Joe's sells maple cookie ice cream sandwiches. Those fuckers are divine.
great. I
Probably one of the best ice cream sandwiches I've had in my life. It's
Cookies and cream sandwiches are great too.
taking all of me not to just down the little 3 box or the 4 box pack. I've already had one today. I could just eat all 4 right now. All the rest of the 3. They're like this big, but they are delicious. I got I got bread. I got orange chicken. I got ice cream. I got these little garlic naan crackers. I was having a time of my life at Trader
Garlic nut.
Joe's.
Oh yeah.
I was having a time of my life at Trader Joe's. And I come sit down in this stupid seat, talk about this dumbass team and how they can't beat the bricks off the Carolina Panthers. And Andrew, I'm sorry for talking about your team like this, but what the hell? What the hell? Like, and now they have to go play on Monday Night Football at home against the Eagles. And I think I saw Andy Herman say it or something. Is like the perfect encapsulation of this Packers team would be to go and beat the Eagles next week on Monday Night Football and then lose to the Giants.
Yeah.
That'd be the perfect encapsulation of what this team is because the Eagles are healthy. They have Dallas Goedert, they have AJ Brown, they have Devonta Smith, they have Saquon, they have Jalen Hurts, they have all their core guys on offense, right? We have a really good defense, allegedly. And, and yes, we have a good defense. The secondary is what is making me
I was
say
just say
allegedly.
8 of the 11 are good defenders.
Right. But when you don't have a run defense and your secondary lets guys like Xavier Leggett push you around, I'm not confident going into the game. My point being is that if we beat them with all of their star talent, that's fantastic. I feel good about this team for a week. And then they go and lose to the Giants with no Cam Scatterboo, no Malik Neighbors. Like, what are we doing? And I'm getting pre-mad. I understand that. But it really is, Jordan, how this season would go. They've beat the good teams. They've beat the Lions. They beat the Commanders. They
Yeah, Commanders aren't good.
they beat
But
the
I know
Steelers,
what you
who
mean.
are a better team, right? They can't beat the Panthers and the Browns. Why should I expect them to win against the Giants? Why? But alas. Do you have anything else? Brandon
McManus.
McManus.
We got to talk about McManus.
I really don't want to go down this road again because I think I'm so hurt. I'm just so hurt by all the kicking woes we've had to go through with this team. But like, I don't know how you continue with them. I think I saw Justice Mosqueda say that outside the red zone that Brandon McManus is like 2 for 8 or something like that. Like I can't find it. But like, do I'm trying to find this so I don't misspeak. Do I, as a Packers fan, do I, as a football watcher, want to hang my hat on a guy, a kicker that was going to be a substitute teacher not a month ago? I don't think I do. And to clarify, McManus is 3 of 8 outside the red zone this year. He's 34 of 36, 34 of 36 qualifying kickers in EPA this year coming into the game. Might even be lower next week. That's from Justice Mosqueda as well. But like, I don't know if I want to trust Lucas Haversek. I don't know if I do.
Class is in session and the substitute is waiting.
And he
It's
and
substitute. It is secondary occupation.
it's one of those things
People have
that
to work.
it's one of those things where I'm like,
Sit down, children.
is changing, like, I'm trying to think of the right uh metaphor phrase to say here. Do you dance with the girl that brought you here? Right? Like Brandon McManus.
Let's not move with this metaphor with Brandon McManus.
Sure, yeah, horrible metaphor. But you know what I'm saying. Like Brandon McManus had success last year. He was a positive for this team. Kickers are 1000% a what have you done for me lately position in the NFL. They just are. And that's why everyone and their brother is looking towards Lucas Haversick. Haversick. I'm probably saying his name wrong. I apologize. There's a reason he wasn't kicking the NFL. He had a shot before this stint with the Packers.
But I don't think that's. I don't think anybody knows what to do. I think you're
And that's
proving the
the
point.
problem.
You're proving the point, though, is that it's funny because like we now like last week we were talking about Nate Hobbs. He had like four, whatever it was, 4 snaps after a really bad game the week before. And Matt Steinman talked about the urgency that Brian Gutekunst has placed on building a championship caliber roster. It's like, does Brandon McManus win you football games? The data is coming back and saying no this season. That's the whole point. Like they just don't know how to assess the future value of kickers or even the short term because it goes back to Anders Carlson and moving
Mm-hmm.
on from Mason Crosby and all that stuff. So it's just like that's why they're in this bind of like if they really objectively had to look at it, they would not continue to trot out Brandon McManus when if it's not even just that it's Lucas Haversick. I just don't think they have a kicker. I don't think Brandon McManus is a kicker that gives them the push to keep going. Like again, I would love to give Matt LaFleur a truth serum, but the fact that you do not take a kick in a very from what was it, a 30-yard kick,
Something like that.
right? If that was in your play or like in your head when you're trying to make that play call, like because he has been struggling, that's open shut. Like that, you've created the sea of doubt. Like does that ever go away? I don't think it does.
Yeah. I remember the times when Matt LaFleur said it was such a great thing to have to think about kicker just to send him out. He said that at
I mean,
press
when he was,
said that at a press conference once where he's like, "Yeah, it's great not to have to think about it."
but that's where it was a fool's errand. Like that's why when we were talking about thinking back to like the training camp of last year and all the Packers beat writers were like, let's just watch the kicking competition play out. It's like they got Rich Bisaccia because their special teams were so bad and it led to them losing a playoff game, the
Yeah.
last playoff game in Aaron Rodgers' career.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you're making decisions based on the teams that have already played, not what they will become. Teams evolve, teams change. The outlook of players are like you just have a different combination of players and rosters year over year. That solving last year's problems creates new future ones. So therefore, be like Brandon McManus is our Jesus kicker, like saving all of our problems and our pain and doing all this stuff was just setting him up to fail because the moment that he is hurt, the moment that he misses field goals is like you did this to yourself. Like why did you pin your hopes on this guy that one was a free agent because of nefarious things that led to the reason why he was available in the first place, and you overlooked that to begin with, and they're gonna double down on this. Like, do I think that they really go to Lucas Haversick? No, I don't. Like, I the difference between him moving on from Brandon McManus than to moving on from Anders Carlson or Braden Narvison or Greg Joseph is that they could just turn to say Brandon McManus at least was a winning kicker in this league. He was on a Super Bowl winning team, yada 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 yada. They could do all that stuff, and they still will do it. But it is just like you can't. There, not all decisions be made with the um, same, uh, like compared to Nate Hobbs
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. It's just
It's
all
gross. Everything's bad.
everything's bad. At least today. Maybe next week it'll be happier.
Let's see. Let's.
Yeah. I have so many other words I want to say, but it's just talking in circles at this point. All I'll say is that I'd be happier if it just looked better. Like I'd
Yeah.
be happier if they lost and they looked good. Because at that point you can say the process was working and you like the ball just didn't break your way today. Like that's how good teams lose, right? That's how the Chiefs
Or if
lose.
you
That's how
score
the
and
Bills
you have
lose.
turnovers, like
Yeah.
again, turnovers are inherently messy, but like they have overcome those in the past.
Yep.
Granted, we are more forgiving of it when you win,
Right.
but
But like
continue.
the point being is that good teams lose, right? Every year.
Yeah.
Every year good teams lose. Like that's just the nature of football. I mean, look at the Lions. They lost to the Packers last year and they were 15-2 and they lose to the Commanders. Like that just good teams lose. But when good teams lose, they have a shot the entire game because they're still playing well. Like you're just getting the other team's best shot, and you are coming up on the wrong side of it as a loss. And I think
Yeah.
on the flip side, you're also giving it your best shot, right? Like if you lose again today, they had a chance to win this game. They lost 16-13 on the last second field goal. If they play their game that if they play an offensive game that is any other game besides the Browns game, they win this game easy. They just do. But they didn't. And it was all the same things that made them look not good. And so until they lose a game where I can confidently say I'm happy with how they played, we're going to keep having this referendum of what the hell is this team doing?
Yeah.
Because that's where we're at as a fan base, and that's where this team is at as a Super Bowl contender. Because you can't continue to lose ugly like this and be expected to do anything of consequence when it matters.
I think that is hitting the nail on the head. Like that's where we're at. This is and ultimately like I'm kind of frustrated that like they don't lose ground in the division. Like ultimately I want this team to win the division. I want them to go as far as they can, but like they they don't really pay for it this week. Like the Vikings helped them out by beating the Lions, and Packers have an edge with in the division, and that tie game is going to help them in any tiebreaker. But yeah, like it is. I think we would have been a little bit more like that's what you get when you lose to a team like the Panthers. But I am kind of frustrated. Like they don't. I don't think they will understand it outside of like the you know personal failure and defeat that you get of losing to a team that you were a 13 and a half point favorite over.
Yep.
Which I, to be honest, like I just I didn't think the Panthers should have been regarded as much, but it
I
wasn't.
agree. I said this game was not going to be easy.
No, we were, and we had learned our lesson from the Browns game of like, don't we can't take any game for granted.
Nope. 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 So
That that is honestly that is where it is. Nothing can be taken for granted with this Packers team. I don't think that is a sentence I could have seen coming pre Parsons trade and post.
yeah.
I think that is the ultimate sign of uh, concern levels rising around this fair state.
Um, we didn't talk about Micah Parsons at all, but not a good game from him. That's kind of where I'll leave it for him.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I mean, if it comes in bunches, that's we're used to that with the Packers defense. But the fact that they showed a graphic where he didn't have a pressure on
Pressure,
like 16
pass
passing
rush
snaps,
snaps. Yeah.
you know, with the Panthers offensive line that had multiple injuries throughout the game and was pretty banged up going into it, so that's not great. But
You want to know what I just realized that really annoys me? This pass rush hasn't looked as good as since Lucas Finesse went down.
I disagree. Last week was great.
Yes, but the other games around that have not looked that good. He's been out what a month
Uh, let me look this up. I don't disagree. I think I
because they
do.
couldn't
I
tack
was
Jordan. They couldn't sack old man Joe Flacco against the Bengals.
yeah. I
They
was a little bit
they
more
couldn't
harsh on
get
him.
they couldn't get Bryce Young on a hobbled ankle.
He left during the Bengals game.
So 2.5
So
games now.
yeah, so coming out of the bye, and let me see if I could find like snap counts or whatever. Um, no, I was harsh on him earlier because I remember just saying like they hadn't really felt
The rush defense
the
was better
absence
with
of
them.
that is where I think that is where I've been wrong. Is that a game like today, Rico Dowdle's on a streak, a hot streak. He's clearly a good running back that they mentioned on the broadcast that Micah Parsons said that Dallas didn't know how to use him
No.
essentially, and that's bearing out to be true. But yeah, the run defense has just been increasingly shoddy as they've lost Colby Wood and Lucas Van Ness. Feel like I'm missing someone. There's someone else that we're missing on the front four at least.
Warren Brinson was out today. He was a healthy scratch.
Healthy scratch, right?
Yep.
Yeah. There's someone else. Why am I forgetting?
I mean,
Wyatt missed
Wyatt
games
was
too.
hurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, alrighty.
Do you feel like you've gotten everything out that you want to say?
No, I could talk in circles about this dumbass team.
Well, I'm just
No, I understand. I appreciate you trying to see if I'm okay.
you
But
talking triangles,
I'm not Jordan.
squares,
Jordan, you know I'm not good talking basketball.
rhombus.
I'm not good talking basketball game plans. I still have to guess what a Spain pick and roll is when I see it. So don't talk to triangles, please.
Just yell out Madrid.
That's right. Barca. All right, that's it for me, folks. Because I just don't. I just don't know what to do with this team right now.
We're just burning clock right now.
Yeah. It's well, no, we're past time. It's just like it just drives me insane. It drives me insane. Okay, I'm done. We're done. We're done. We're done. Because I'm just gonna keep talking. Thank you for listening. I hope this was, I guess, enjoyable for you to listen to. It wasn't enjoyable for me to record. I enjoyed talking to Jordan. I enjoyed talking about the Packers. I hope you agreed with somewhat of my ramblings, listener. I thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, this hour and 12 and a half ish minutes that you've been listening. So I appreciate your listenership. I appreciate all you guys' support always. Jordan, I appreciate you. You can find all things Eurostep at gspn.info. You can listen to all things Bucks with Ty and Rohan over on Eurostep. Uh, as the Bucks inexplicably lose to the Kings, and what was, I didn't watch the game, apparently pretty bad. But in the better news, Ryan Rollins is a real player. That's exciting.
Yeah, that was very exciting.
So I know Ty and Rohan recorded on Friday after the Warriors win about Ryan Rollins' career day, which is a very fun pod. So if you haven't listened to, go listen to that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you would. I would appreciate it. Talk of the Tundra on YouTube. We'll be back in your podcast feeds later this week to preview the Eagles game, at which point I will be probably cautiously optimistic to be optimistic at all. So, Jordan, thank you for all you do, buddy. I appreciate you. And I guess thank you for a second time in that sentence.
Thank you.